Bárbara, ¿cuántos profesores hay aquí? ¿Cuántos estudiantes? Buenos días. Muy bien. So here we are. This is the community of Santa Barbara. You saw the sign over there when we first get out of the canoes. And like Jose Luis was telling you, this is the city center, like the community center. Because all the families that we have in the jungle, they live along the river. There's not like the regular town cities that we have outside in other parts of the country, see, or in other parts of the world, that we just concentrate in one area. One of the reasons why people don't concentrate in one single place is because of the sources and the space that they need to grow products. Yeah? Because every time that there's a reunion, every time that something is going on in the school, or every time that they have a minga. Have you heard the word minga?
Meeting.
M-I-N-G-A. Minga is the word that we have in Spanish and in Quechua for a community work. So when the teachers of the school said we have to fix one of the rooms, all the parents come and help on the construction. When there's something to fix about the water pipe, the water system, the all families, parents come and help on this construction. So the community job, the community work, that's Minga. Yeah? So that's why they have this kind of houses. And when there's kind of a reunion, when there's the time to take a decision by the families, by the people of the community, they come and have a reunion here. But also this house is used when they have parties, when they have festivities. All the families bring something. They have an area that they use for cooking over there, and they all share the products that they bring here. Yeah, plus they have some drinks and they have a good time. They bring music sometimes, or they play music. So that's what happened in this kind of building. Yeah. Other days when there's nothing to do here, this is just empty. Right? That's how it works. So people live along the river because they need a space to grow yuca, to grow corn, to grow bananas, to grow plantain, to grow cacao, to grow coffee, different products that they produce and grow in this area. We don't have like too many people living far inside of the jungle. Most of the people live along the river for a few reasons. By the river, because the level of the river goes up and down. Sometimes, a couple of times a year, the water can come all the way to this area. But the river brings minerals, sediments, right? And we have a much better soil by the river to grow products. That's why people live on the side of the river. The other reason, the river, remember, provides them transportation. What we have been doing these days, using the river to go up and down with the canoes. Always was transportation system. Number 3, river provides some products too, also to eat. Fish, very important. And also the river was used for many years for the water, like when the level is lower, when it's not much rain, the river, it's much clean, so they can use that water for drinking, or they can use that water for showers and for laundry. Those are the reasons why people establish their communities along the river. Yes, along the river. And yeah, and some of you saw that along the way were some small constructions with a generator on top along the river. Those are some machines adapted by the local people to find one of the products that we can get on the dirt of the river. Gold. See, that's also sometimes one of the incomes of the families. Once the time of the year when they look gold is after the river rise, when it's going back again lower, is the time when the water moves the bottom sediments and they have a pipe connected to the generator that soaks the dirt of the bottom and goes through filters so they get gold. But some others, they don't have that, so they just do manual. They pan for gold with a round wooden pan, right? They pan for gold. But it takes time because it's very artisan the way how they look for gold. So it takes time to get a good amount. But that's another income of the families, right? Another income of the families around here. People that lived in this area of the jungle are Quechua, is one of the 14 tribes that we have in the jungle. Yeah. In this part of the country, we have around 14 different groups of people, and they distribute in different parts of the rainforest of the country. Quechua is the name of this tribe, and Quechua is also one of the languages, the language that they speak, but also Quechua we can find up in the mountains, in the highlands of Ecuador. Quechua is also what you have when you go to Peru. The Incas and still people in Peru speak Quechua. It's connected, it's related. The same language, just a different dialect. And this language was brought by the Incas to this part of South America when they came up here 500 years ago. But the Incas never came down to the jungle. So how come we have people that speak Quechua? People in the jungle, they realize that the Inca kingdom, it was a good opportunity to sell products. Yeah, it was a good customer. And in order to sell products, they decided to learn the language of the Incas, Quechua. But they kept the language, right? And that's why they still speak Quechua in this part of the country. They never came down here. People from here, they took products to the highlands and gave it to the Incas and other tribes. But in order to have a better communication and better negotiation, they learned their language. And that's why people speak Quechua down here in the jungle, right? But we have many other languages, and all the other native languages that we have in the country are not related each other. They're not even similar, right? And of course, not related with Spanish that was later brought by the Europeans. Yes, by the Europeans. Some of the products that people exchanged with the Incas in the old times was coca leaves. Not anymore, but that used to be a big thing. The jungle produced a lot of coca leaves. And coca leaves was so important that at one point coca leaves was used as currency. That's probably like the first currency that we had in South America. Coca leaves. So they paid with coca leaves and get corn, they get potatoes, and from here they took other products that they didn't have up in the mountains. Yeah? So people in here, they still keep the language. The language is start to be only writing language with the arrival of the Spaniards and the alphabet. But not too much ago, like they start to write and read in Quechua, using the alphabet that we have, right? So they still keep their traditions because they're pretty much disconnected to the outside world. So that's good. Some people think that is good, and some other people think that it's a bad thing. My point of view is a good thing, right? because they're disconnected to the outside world. They just live here in the community. So all here is part of the community. He told me that there's 135 people in the community, distributed in about 23 families we have in here. Right? So, ¿cuántos hijos tienes? He says, I'm asking him like how many kids that he has. And he says that he is one of the smallest family. He has 8 kids. ¿Cuántos tienes? ¿Cuántos tienes? Sí. 10. 10, sorry. So he has 10 kids, 10 children. ¿En qué edad están más o menos sus hijos?
El último ya va a tener 6 años y el primero ya va a tener 24.
So the oldest is going to be 24 and the youngest 6 years old. So
And Marcel, these are his children, or is he part of it?
no, his children,
His children.
his kids, his children with the same wife. Una mujer. Sí. ¿Qué más? So he is going to tell us a little bit more about this place.
Bueno, voy a explicarles un poquito de la comunidad. La comunidad vive de la agricultura y hoy en día ya vive también del turismo, donde hacemos el turismo comunitario, donde se benefician todas las familias que participan en la actividad. Bueno, eso es importante para la comunidad y tenemos un ingreso mejor para la sustentación de la familia. Y bueno, el turismo comunitario también se lo organiza a base de minga. No sé, esto se hizo una minga para construir y bueno, tienen sus reglas. La persona que no está en la minga es multado con $15. Esos son así se organizan las comunidades, ¿no? Y también el momento que se viene a trabajar en una minga, cada familia trae una buena cantidad de chicha para durante el trabajo, porque aquí la chicha es importantísima en vez de agua, chicha, y cuando le da hambre es chicha, ¿sí? Y también esta comunidad tiene su territorio. Aquí en la Amazonía muchas comunidades tienen la suerte de tener su territorio bueno, esto tiene 300 hectáreas, donde es comunitario. De todas las familias que vivimos aquí somos dueños, y hay muchas comunidades que tienen así, quichuas o otras etnias nativas, tienen sus territorios para tener protegido y también para conservar para el tiempo con el futuro, para la nueva generación.
Okay, so Olger is giving us a little bit of extra information about the community. He says that it is always very important they have a political organization. Pretty much every community along the country, and especially in the jungle, since many years ago, they organize themselves. So always they have a leader, a president, that is elected by the people. It's a democracy, what they have here. And it's the leader that takes like the decisions together with the concession of the other members of the community. So that's how they do things for the benefit of the community. Number one income is the agriculture. So the products that they produce here, a lot of the products are for the same families. But also, when they have the chance, the opportunity, they take these products down the river to the bridge where we park the bus, and through the road to the different other towns that we have nearby, like Tena, like the big city that we have close to this area. So they sell the products there, they make some money by the sale of the products, and they bring other things that they don't have in this area. They bring bread, they bring rice, they bring canned food, or like noodles, so this kind of things that they don't have around here. Yeah? So it's very important that everybody, every family that's part of the community, it's very important that they follow all the different rules that they have in here. Yeah? Once again, they said that this house was built by Minga, this kind of communitary labor job work. And if a family does not come on the day that they have to build something that will be in the benefit of the community, they have a fine. $15 is what they have. Yes? And everybody brings something. Everybody brings something to drink. Everybody brings something to eat. So they share it all the time. And what's the number one thing that they bring, especially to drink, is chicha. Have you heard about chicha? It's a fermented drink. In some other parts of South America, like in Peru, they make chicha out of corn. Here, people make chicha out of yuca, the root. Hay una yuca. And they're going to show us a little bit also how they prepare chicha in a little bit. Después. So that's what they bring. Olher says that this community owns 300 hectares of land. That's about 700 acres. Yeah? And they're recognized by the government of Ecuador, they're recognized by the country as the owners of this part of the land. Not every family has papers, documents that says 2 acres belongs to Olher's family, 3 acres belongs to other family. No. The whole community owns the land, and because of the organization that they have, they decided which section is going to be used for which family. Plus also that they always left an area of conservation. They don't destroy everything, right? They don't destroy everything, and they try to manage the sources that we have in this area.
Sí. ¿Alguna pregunta, alguna inquietud que ustedes tengan?
Any other question?
Yes.
Por favor.
Between them, is it a barter system or they actually exchange with the dollar like?
Dice, entre ustedes, ¿cómo funciona? ¿Hay intercambio de productos? ¿Se compran, se venden? ¿Cómo funciona?
Bueno,
Trueque.
Bueno, aquí
No las mujeres, pero.
se siembran los...
Este se vende a cualquiera.
Se siembra los productos, no sé, plátano, yuca, maíz, cacao, café. Pero nosotros todos sacamos al mercado y una poca cantidad se queda para consumo de la familia. Pero también aquí, bueno, entre nosotros compartimos a veces cuando cazamos algún animal o cogimos bastante pescado, a veces con las redes, atarrayas. Entonces compartimos con las otras familias vecinas, con las familias, se comparte. Eso compartimos así. De ahí los productos vendemos para cada familia, venden el de él. Y así.
So the way how it works is pretty much every family has production of bananas, plantains, corn, coffee, cacao. So they take all those products, 90% probably, to the markets and sell it. They bring the things that they bring, that's probably something that they will sell to the neighbor or share with the neighbor. And also the way how they do it is when they hunt something, when like not very often, they reduce the amount of hunting, because also one of the activities that they're now doing, getting into, is in tourism. So what nice, what better, like to see the monkeys that we saw this morning up on the trees, the birds that we saw in their natural habitat yesterday. What better than that instead of to see animals in captivity, right? So they realize that that is an extra and it's better instead of to do hunting. But they still practice some hunting in special times of the year. So if they hunt a wild pig, of course, there's no electricity, no refrigeration. So if one family is not going to finish a wild pig, so they share with the neighbors. When they have a good fishing day, they're going to save something for the family and share it to the neighbors. And the neighbors, when they have something, will share with them too. So that's the way how you do in a community, right?
Once again, the government, is there like a mayor and a council?
In here,
Yes, how does that work?
it's just one president.
Uh-huh.
Un presidente nomás en la comunidad. ¿Cómo
Sí.
funciona?
Bueno, es una directiva de 9 personas,
Ah, ya.
pero el cabecilla es el presidente y luego sigue el vicepresidente y siguen los más dirigentes de la comunidad. Se ponen 9 personas para organizarse bien, pero el presidente es donde los organiza para hacer cualquier trabajo, cualquier cosa que se quiere hacer. Entonces el presidente es la máxima cabecilla. Un presidente también no tiene un sueldo, no gana, él es voluntariamente por trabajar con la comunidad, más es un pasatiempo porque a veces tiene que perder su día de trabajo, a veces pasaje para ir a alguna comisión a las autoridades del pueblo, de la ciudad, ¿no? del Napo. Entonces se pierde el tiempo, pero es una buena experiencia también que se llega a tener, ¿no? Pero no se gana un dinero del gobierno o de la comunidad, es voluntariamente.
So the political organization, there's 9 members of the leaders with one president. So yeah, the president, they all take decisions. First, they take decisions between them, and later they share the decisions with the community, right? If the community finally agrees with something that they're gonna do, the president continues on the process of taking decisions, right? And Olger says that those people that are elected to be the leaders for a certain period of time, they don't get any money, right? It's pretty much volunteer, right? It's just the idea to help the community and do something for the community. ¿Cada cuánto eligen?
Cada 2 años.
So he says that every 2 years they change the leaders, the 9 members of the direction of the community.
Por eso no quieren casi las personas, se elige 3, 4, 5 candidatos y no quieren casi las personas llegar a ser presidente porque es un compromiso que se llega a tener con la comunidad y casi la mayoría es que son elegidos como candidatos no quieren. Y luego va por votaciones, el voto es secreto y el que tuvo más votos queda de presidente, así quiera o no quiera, y el que le sigue queda de vicepresidente.
So it's usually, yeah, it's like a democracy, but sometimes people don't want to become the president or want the leaders of the community because first it takes time. If they have another job, it's going to take time of their regular job, and second, they're not going to get paid, right? And they have to do a lot of things. But Olher says that they don't care because everybody has to be able to help the community. So they put like 4 or 5 candidates every time, and they vote for the leader. So the ones who gets most of the votes is going to be the president. So every 2 years they do that process.
So do they tend to marry within the community, or can they marry anybody?
No, they can marry anybody, no problem. What happened now, with some of them, like the young guys that we have on the lodge working, part of the community, but they can meet somebody else there from other community, they can marry with no problem.
But is marriage kind of a routine thing, compulsory thing, or people have children without marriage all the time? Is that?
Well, once they got together and they take the decision and they have the opinion of the parents, they're considered themselves married. Like they don't make a ceremony. They make a traditional ceremony probably between them. Yeah, and that's how it starts.
So,
And after probably a long time, many years, when they actually need to have the ID that says that they're married, they will do the papers with the government. But besides that,
so
they don't care.
raising the kids, like he has 10 kids and he said he's the smallest family. So is it a responsibility of the whole community to raise the kid, or is just everything
it's
on his
his
shoulder?
responsibility. He's the father.
Because it's 123 people, so It's like everybody, you bring a banana, you bring this and bring, and we'll raise the kid together. It's
Well,
not,
but that's just on days that they got together, right? In the city town, in the city center here. But when they live in their houses, they're responsible of their families.
oh, okay.
See?
So how do they communicate that, oh, there is a meeting coming up next Sunday, miss? Is there
You
some,
send your kid to tell the neighbor. Yeah. There's no radio, there's no telephone. Yeah. See, if you're the leader of the community, well, if there's a school, you can come to the school and tell all the kids to tell their parents that next Saturday is going to be a reunion here. If there's no school, you walk along the river, or you just send your kids to tell all the other families that next Saturday is time to be back here. So that's how it works. That's the coming.
Anybody here, or they have to go to the city?
What?
no doctor?
Doctors or anybody here?
No doctors in here. They all use traditional medicine. Just remember, when it gets very difficult, they go out. But it takes time. Like for them, because they don't have cars, they go probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes to the road, to the bridge, and they have to wait there for a car, for a bus, or whatever comes, to go to Tena, which is the closest medical facility. Yeah.
Now, how about a teenager getting rebel, saying that, hey, I don't want to live with my parents anymore here? Can they move to other commune and say, hey, I like that commune better than this commune? So how much freedom they have?
Well, it's possible to do that, but if this kid has somebody to marry on the other community, they can do
Not
that.
just married, like he's a probably
He's a single? No, it's not
no.
possible.
Let's say he's the smartest guy in the whole commune, and he say, you know what, that commune I can do better, and I want to leave this commune. What happens? Would they let him go?
Well,
or?
they let him go, but there is difficult to be accepted on the other community.
That's what I'm
Because
asking. How easy it is to exchange? Okay,
the land distribution is the main problem, but that not happen.
okay.
See, they stay here, or very few of them go to the cities now.
Okay.
Lynn.
Animals, do they have pets? Do they have domesticated animals that they get food from, like cows or chicken with eggs and food? And how much do they hunt in the wild?
Now the hunting is very little. One of the reasons, because now they have animals that supply. Yeah, it's instead of doing hunting, especially chickens. Very few have pigs and no cows, because if you have a cow here, if it's time to sell it, how you're gonna take it to the road? In a canoe? Very difficult. Otherwise, you have to walk all the way, and it's gonna take about 4 hours. See? So, chickens are the number one. There's a few dogs, like pets. See? Few dogs. And dogs are used mainly for hunting. Yeah. Dogs, unfortunately, they have to find their own way to get food. So sometimes when we see dogs in the jungle, they're very skinny. People don't feed them much. It's whatever they hunt, right? And sometimes they still have some pets of wild animals, monkeys, pigs, so other animals, but not often, just sometimes.
You don't have any goats in this area?
Any what?
Goats.
No. Too hard for them.
Does
Jaguars don't let.
does Ecuador government has any kind of project to kind of save the wisdom of this tribe? Like they acquire so much of knowledge and wisdom through the experience, and I don't think they have any ways to write it down. It just passes generation to generation. But the government has any program where they are trying to save this wisdom so that it can be passed on to the next generation?
The government doesn't has any program that make sure that all the acknowledgement that these people have about the jungle, it stays with them. It's always just acknowledgement that passed by generation. So unfortunately, the government doesn't do any program. They don't care Unfortunately, because like we said in Ecuador, there's no boats.
No what?
Boats.
Oh.
Like when somebody wants to become a president, they don't come to make campaign around here because they know that it's a small population. So unfortunately, that's the way of thinking of politicians. So no boats.
Voting. Yeah.
Voting about voting.
So they're not enough to count towards the overall
Exactly.
victory.
It's not going to make a big difference.
All right.
So, muy bien.
¿Ya? Entonces, ahora vamos a hacer, van a hacer las familias la demostración de la chicha, como la preparación, cómo es el proceso, y luego también les van a brindar la chicha y también la bebida, la guayusa, que es una costumbre de tomar en las madrugadas. Eso vamos a hacer en este momento.
So, some of the ladies and women of the community, now they're going to give you a demonstration of how do they make chicha. Chicha, the drink. The fermented drink. And later, they're going to give it to you. Something to share is up to you. If you try it or not.